Mia. I don't know what I just did. Hold on. This is where I want to be. Okay. I'm going to go over your interactive oral with you. The interactive oral written response, and then I'll look at the essay. And I'm going to try and do this as best I can without you sitting here. Okay. So with the interactive oral, we really want to emphasize what you learned in the interactive oral presentation, not necessarily the connections to kitchen so much. Okay, so you've got a lot of connections to kitchen, some good examples for each, but we want to focus on what you got out of the oral. So try to review your notes. You're allowed to change, this reflective statement. And for each paragraph, begin it just like you do here, the interactive oral. In the interactive oral, during the process of the interactive oral, we talked about, I learned through the interactive oral. Those kinds of phrases are very helpful to begin each paragraph. And in each paragraph, then focus on the specifics, the details, as much as you can about what you guys talked about. And for instance, you can talk here in this paragraph about Yoshimoto's background. And yes, she did grow up in a liberal household, and that's important, where she gets her artistic influences from, writing, etc., perhaps. With Japanese culture and the idea of blocking emotions, that's a good one, but try to keep it as much as possible in the details, specifics that the oral presentation brought out. Okay, so that'll help bring that score up quite a bit. And then last down here with the foods and kitchens, I would almost say that that's worthy of two different paragraphs, one about food, one about kitchens. And yeah, okay. So now to the essay. The essay is about the importance of food in kitchen. And a couple of points that I'm just going to make right off the bat. Yellow is kind of a caution or take it out kind of highlight, maybe something to review. Green is good, and then blue is a combination of yellow and green. So there's something good in there for sure, but there's something that needs some tweaking. The first thing is the introduction. The phrase here, in Japanese culture, having meal is connecting you with the ones you love. That's fine. The role of food in the novella Kitchen by Banano Yoshimoto affected the lives of all the characters in the novella. We want to put Yoshimoto, the author, in the subject position of the sentence, and we want to say that Yoshimoto uses food to show Mikage's salvation, Yuichi's despair, something like that, or perhaps how Yoshimoto uses food to help Mikage save Yuichi. I'm not sure how you want to phrase it exactly, but or the specifics of it, but the way we want to phrase it is to put Yoshimoto in that subject position. The author is the subject, and then the verb then is what she's doing, and that's what we're focusing on. So that's very important. We'll come back maybe to this thesis statement. Your body paragraphs are a little on the kind of rambling side. I'm not sure about this first paragraph. It seems like we're establishing Mikage's desperation or the fact that she's sad, or it's basically a lot of summary with some quotes to support how sad she was after her grandmother died. Then we move into the Tanabe's house, and we're getting closer to this idea of the food, but we still are not really getting down to business yet. We're still kind of dancing around it. This blue is probably the first instance of where we get to, some sort of claim about Yoshimoto using food. We want to make sure that we put uses in the present tense, not in the past. So Yoshimoto uses food to symbolize deep connections, and the kitchen to symbolize someone's, I imagine, possessive S, soul. perhaps because to me a kitchen represents some distant longing engraved on my soul. That's a great observation. Aside from the grammatical issues, I think the nuance here, the subtlety that we really want to pull out, is that it's a longing, a desire that's engraved on Mikage's soul, rather than a symbol of it, if that makes sense. I don't know if you want to pursue that further, but it's certainly a great quote that I think could serve as more of a thesis statement or a theme statement for where you're going with this paper. Your next paragraph seems to deal with Yuichi's despair and desperation, and certainly during this time when Eriko has died, or after Eriko dies, Yuichi is very sad. Unfortunately, it seems that you've misunderstood the time frame here, because and I went back and I just reviewed it, okay? And first of all, page 45 puts us back around the time of, I'm pretty sure that's yeah, okay, sorry, that is Eriko's death. But here's the deal. Once Yuichi finally tells her, it's been a couple of months have passed, and they then really don't spend that much time together. Part of what you quote is from a dream, this dark place, this one down here, and his drunkenness, and the fact that they don't talk about it. It's maybe 72 hours from when she first comes over, they get drunk. The next morning he cooks a meal for her. She cooks a meal for him, a big meal. He gets drunk again. Then they do talk about it. That night she has that crazy dream, and then the next day she goes to work and is confronted by his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend. So this doesn't highlight the extent of your knowledge that we want. So consider revising that. I don't think that they're toxic to one another here. I think that this is kind of a bit of a misrepresentation of their toxicity. And then the Katsudan certainly does help them recover, and that does seem to be the thread, as you say, that brings them back together. But another last point here is you're using Mikage's reference to like her spirit not being destroyed to, I think you're trying to suggest he realizes he's not bringing Mikage down by feeling pain over his mother's death. You're using that to somehow support Yuichi's kind of revelation. So I think that also we need a better quote here from Kitchen. Okay, so more focus is really going to be the key to bringing your scores up. And the knowledge and understanding is kind of low because, like I said, it seems like you've misinterpreted the time frame for Yuichi and Mikage's immediate kind of despair, I guess, after he tells her about Eriko's death. But it doesn't last that long, and I think that the dream is what gives you the idea that it might be a toxic relationship, but I don't think they are. I don't think they're together long enough for it to be toxic. And the fact that she does go off to Izu and he goes off as well, kind of highlights that is not they're not going down that road. I'm not sure if that makes sense. We also really want to emphasize what Yoshimoto's doing to bring up that score for the appreciation of author's choices. So we need to put Yoshimoto in that subject position for almost every paragraph, okay? All right, I hope this is helpful. And if you have any questions, just email me or, come see me. Okay, thanks. Bye. This will take a minute to turn off.